Hello and welcome to FPL Natty. It has been a long time that I've been on this channel and I must apologize for that. But then again, I'm sorry, not sorry in a way, because we had a fantastic World Cup. I thought it was pretty decent. First week was a bit slow, but then it kind of kicked in and then it worked really well. It ended with an amazing final that you guys saw like a couple Sundays ago with Argentina and France. Obviously, Messi took home the trophy, which I was super ecstatic about. But yeah, it has been a while, but FPL is finally back. We are here with Game Week 17, and I'm going to show you my team selection. I've had obviously quite a few weeks now to think about what team I want to choose, and who I'm going to select. There's so many options. Some people might think there's a right or wrong option as to who to choose. I don't know. I think there are so many good FPL assets right now that there isn't really a bad option personally. But let me know what you think when you see my team. So let's not talk too much about this. Let's get right into this video. Before I begin though, I just want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. Yeah, I should have really started with that to be honest, but I hope you are having a fantastic Christmas. If you aren't, my prayers go out to you. I hope that love and peace will share in your heart at this time. Thinking about any loved ones that you may have missed, or this is just a bad time for you, my prayers and thoughts are with you at this time. So I just want to send you my love to you if you're watching this right now. So in regards to my team for FPL, we are in game week 17, and previously before the World Cup, I was thinking about who I was going to select going forwards. Obviously, we had the unlimited transfers, we could choose whoever we wanted without having to really worry too much about the price, depending on whether you bought a player who's really cheap, maybe like a Saliba, something like that. Those kind of players that you bought quite cheap. Most players you can chop and change, so it really wasn't an issue for me to chop and change my team. I got rid of, this is who I got rid of. I got rid of Raya, Mark Webster, Trossard. Wait for this one. Martinelli, also Salah, Solanke, and Kane. I really wanted to switch my team out. It was getting a bit stale. I was so grateful for this break that I could have unlimited transfers. So yeah, those are the players I got rid of. So let's see who I brought in. First of all, it is Kepa Arrizabalaga, the Chelsea goalkeeper. Now I've seen him in a lot of what they call template teams, but my feelings are this: is there really a template team right now? I think, as I said before, there are so many good options that I personally couldn't fit into my squad. And Nketiah, Saka, who knows, even Kane, people that I took out, Kane, Martinelli, Salah, these are good players, but I just wanted to chop and change my team about. But there are so many good options right now that you can pick. Also, I've given away some that I haven't picked, that I don't think there really is a template team. But I had to bring in Kepa because I think that the fixtures that he has, Bournemouth first and then Nottingham Forest, and then a double game week after that, with him replacing Mendy as Chelsea's number one, with the fixtures that they have, he's in good form. He's under 5% owned, so that makes him a goalkeeping differential. So it just makes sense for me to bring in a keeper of his standard and his quality. Potter has had time to work with the players there. And top players did leave to go to the World Cup, but I do think that Potter's philosophy will start to shine through, because what can happen? They can't be worse than they was before. They have to be better. So he's my number one player. In terms of my defenders, I've gone for three at the back. The first one, he's in most people's team. It is Trippier. He did make an appearance at the World Cup. Not as much appearances as I thought he was going to, but he was there. In regards to him at Newcastle, he's only blanked 3 times in 15 appearances, and he's in my squad because he is the highest scoring defender in FPL currently. Top of assists, clean sheets, big chances created. He's a threat both at the forward end of the pitch and also in defence. He has a strong defence with Shaw, Botman. Obviously, they've got Pope in goal as well. It's a no-brainer to have him in my squad. Alongside him is also a no-brainer is Cancelo, João Cancelo. Yes, he was benched a bit for Portugal at the World Cup, but that should make him basically rested for what he's got for the Premier League. And for me, he is the most nailed-on player in that Man City defense. So behind him, I think are Walker, who's coming back from injury. Then you've got Laporte, Diaz, Stones, Akanji, and also Ake as well. And if we're talking about trying to get a City defender for the running that they have, I think Cancelo is the best option. He's produced three double-figure hauls this season. I think he can do it again with Leeds up next. They are more open than whatever's open, like I don't know, a barn door or something. So it kind of makes sense for me to have him in my squad. He is quite expensive, but I am balancing that against his output, whether that is a clean sheet or the fact that he has the potential to give returns. He's underperformed as we know already, but I know that going forwards, he is someone you want to have in your squad. You don't want to be the back end of one of his hauls and you don't have him. So I thought, let me just bring him in to try and fence off potential losses in points, basically. Alongside him is James. As we know, Reece James missed the World Cup. Unfortunately, he would have been a great player to have in Gareth Southgate's squad, but he has been training and getting himself back fit for the Premier League and for Chelsea. We've seen him play some kind of pre-season tournaments. The last game he played the other day, I think he played like 65 minutes. So it just makes sense that he is nailed on in my team. As I said before, with the double game week they have in game week 19 and these two fantastic fixtures that they have against Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest, it just makes sense to have him in. So James is in my team. Hopefully, not many people have him because they think he's injured. But yeah, I had to have him. So three at the back is what I've gone for. And then for my midfield, I've gone for four. And you can see some new players in there. There are three new players that I haven't had for a long time. The first is Kulachevsky. Now, as we know, Richarlison injured himself in the World Cup, so he's going to be out for quite a while. So that pretty much secures Kulachevsky's place in the squad. So it's going to be him on one side, Son on the other side, and Kane in the middle. Since he's come back since game week 15, he's had back-to-back returns and only 5% owned right now. That is another differential I have in my squad, who is going to be a nailed-on player in the Tottenham squad. Pretty much until Richarlison comes back, which is going to be a couple of weeks at the least. So I had to have him in. It's only 8 million. I spoke about 8 million at the start of the season, so Kulusevski has always been on my list and one of those kind of players. He is on fire. Previously to the World Cup, he had a little break, and I'm hoping he will pick up that and return that form for Tottenham, who are looking for points as they dropped a few before the World Cup. Alongside him is Kevin De Bruyne. We saw how badly his World Cup went, but he showed his qualities in the Carabao Cup. When was that? What day does it say? Earlier on this week, I think it was what, Tuesday or Wednesday, that Kevin De Bruyne played. He showed how amazing he was, the partnership he has with Kevin De Bruyne. And just what we was missing over those 4 weeks at the World Cup, he showed in one game the qualities that he had. We didn't really forget it, but it was good to be reminded of what he can do. And he has returned two double figures in his last three away matches. And as I said before, the partnership has across the board. He is just pulling the strings across that whole midfield. He doesn't really get subbed very often. He's one of the first names on the team sheet because of how much an important player is. He won't get dropped because Pep needs points, basically. So that's why I have him in my squad. Alongside him, there's not really much more that needs to be said. It's Almiron for Newcastle. Newcastle do have some good fixtures. And this guy, Almiron, was on fire prior to the World Cup. On fire prior to the World Cup. Yeah, and he leads the charts in literally all the midfielders. He's got 75 points so far. It is a no-brainer that he's in my squad. Again, it's one of those players that are cheap, has done super, super well. And do I want to take him out when he's going to be on? He's still on a good run. He's still on a fantastic run. And I don't think it's necessary for me to take him out of the squad right now. What is the point when a player like him has done so well, and it could be detrimental to my position if I take him out when he's in such good form? And the new player I've got in my midfield to finish that four in midfield is Marcus Rashford. He is great. I'm not just saying that because I'm a United fan, but I'm just loving his development and his form. I think he should have played more for England, but that's just Gareth Southgate. He is, for me, needs to go, but that's a separate conversation. But yeah, Marcus Rashford is in my squad. I believe that this second half of the season is going to show his actual worth and how good he is based on not only his England form but how he was playing for United before. Ronaldo's out of the squad, so it means there aren't any major big players in the team. So it's time for Rashford to step up. I know he's got like a year and a half or so left on his contract, something like that. So it makes sense that United are not going to get rid of him, but he needs to put himself out there to show how good he is, because I think it's just been a potential for this whole time, and we know what he can do. So I have brought him in based on the form he's in. He looks like he's on fire. You saw what he did in the Carabao Cup, his solo goal from like the halfway line. Yeah, it was against Burnley, but Burnley had already been playing for like a good 2 weeks before that, so it was still against a strong side, and Rashford just took him apart. He just needs to focus on his finishing. He's got Martial back as well, and he looks like he's going to be the leading guy. So Rashford in my squad, hoping to produce a lot of returns. At home, he's already got 42 points this season, which is the fifth among defenders, averaging about 8.2 points per home game. So with that in mind, he's in my squad. Is he in your squad? If he's in your squad, write down below. Let me know if he's in your squad. Obviously, you can't comment on my video unless you're subscribed. So you know what to do, subscribe and all that jazz. So moving on to my forwards. I've gone for 3 forwards, and as you can see, there are 2 in there that you have never seen before. The first one is Darwin Núñez. He's the guy from Newcastle. He's the guy from Liverpool. Now, if you saw the match they played against City, you'll be wondering, why do I have this guy in my squad? Well, to be honest, he's in the right place. He just needs to work on his finishing just a little bit, just to refine it, and then I think he'll be in everyone's squad. But I'm getting him early. Well, not that early to be honest, because he's the most bought-in player for game week number 7. Game week 17. I think over 400,000 FPL managers bought him in. But it's still relatively early in the grand scheme of things when there's like over 10 million managers. I think Darwin Núñez is really going to be good. With Salah playing out wide, it means that Darwin plays through the centre as the number 1 striker. Firmino's out of the minute, so he is the main guy. And you see the qualities he does have, so he just needs to make sure he works on his finishing a little bit. I'm sure that Klopp is drilling into him what he needs to do to make sure that he can climb up the table. But forget the table, he just needs to get points for me because it's in my squad. And next to him is Martial, back from injury, fit after his like mini preseason during the World Cup. This guy needs to stay fit. Okay, already, Ten Hag has already spoken about the fact he needs a striker. So Martial knows that his position is under attack. Really, he doesn't own the number 9 shirt. Okay, and that is because he's always injured. Like, he's injured pretty much 60% of the season, but right now he is fit and available, and when he's fit, he does really well. He usually hits the ground running. Again, I've got another differential in my squad, under 5% owned at the moment right now, and Man United do have good fixtures. Okay, so I'm hoping that come on, Martial, please do it for me this time. I've brought you in. I put my trust in you. I need you to do bits and get me some points, because I know a lot of other people don't have him. Okay, and as you know, last but not least, it is Erling Haaland. Averages about 9.6 points per match, not home or away. This is per match. We're talking about big chances, shots in the box, and expected goals. This guy, as you know, what's the words? A machine. He's a robot. He's a beast. He's one of the best strikers or forwards I've seen in the Premier League for a long time, particularly for his age. You're talking about speed, strength, running off the ball, running with the ball, finishing, heading, I don't know, volleying. This guy is so good. So he's in my squad. I think he's in like 90% of squads anyway, so that's not really a thing. But Haaland rounds off my team for a 3-4-3 formation. Haaland is my captain. It just makes sense. Why would I captain anyone else? They're playing Leeds. They're going to smash them. Haaland is 100% going to score. Okay? If you think Haaland is going to score, give this video a like. Okay? If you think he's going to score, give it a like. If you don't think he's going to score, hit the subscribe button. That's what I think you should do. And my vice captain is obviously Kevin De Bruyne, because I think City against Leeds are just gonna smash it. Anyways, so my bench. Let's move on to my bench, because this one I was really struggling with, because I wasn't sure who I wanted to really put in as like the first bench options. But let's talk about Danny Ward. Danny Ward, as we know, from game week 9 onwards, has been the top scoring FPL goalkeeper. And what was nice to see was him at the World Cup. I saw him brief at the World Cup. I think he came in for, could have been Hennessy or something, when he like fly kicked the guy outside the area. Then Danny Ward came in for Wales. He wasn't that good for Wales, but whatever. For the Premier League and for Leicester, he has been amazing. 5 clean sheets in his last 6 fixtures with Leicester. And let's see what he does. I didn't bring him in this week because of the game that they have got against, and I think that Kepa has a better chance of getting me more points. But if Kepa doesn't play, Ward comes in, I won't be too mad at it. At my first subs position, it is Andreas Pereira. Now, at the time of this recording, Mitrovic is a doubt for that game, which means that Andreas may be on penalties. So that is a benefit for me if one of my players doesn't play. Let's say, for example, Rashford or not Reece James. Who else may not play? Martial will play. I don't know. If one of my midfielders or my forwards doesn't play, obviously Andreas will come in. But I didn't think there was a player that I wanted to take out for my first 11. Really, yeah, for my bench. Really, I thought my first 11 was strong enough. So that's why Andreas is like the first name on my bench, because I think he's got the best chance this game week to come on and get me some points out of the other people I have. Next to him is Ben White, who they have a game against West Ham. It's a tough game. It's a London derby. West Ham are desperately looking for some points. They are, David Moyes is struggling right now, and they can't be in a relegation battle. He will get sacked. I tell you right now, that board will sack him by the end of January if they haven't figured it out yet. So will be a good test for Arsenal in their title defense. So let's see what they do. So I thought Ben White, let's keep him on the bench right now. He doesn't really give me attacking returns anyway, and the chances are of a possibility of that defense being breached. And last but not least, it is Patterson. He is in my squad from Everton. As we know what happened to Patterson earlier on in the season, he got a severe injury that had him out for a long period of time. He was in the team before, and obviously the injury took him completely out. But he's back, and he's on my bench. He's in the last position on my bench. And to be honest, I didn't really want him. I wanted Parud from Southampton, who've got a great run of fixtures, but I just couldn't afford him. It was either, I needed like 0.1, and there was no one I wanted to sacrifice in my team. So I wanted Patterson, who plays anyway, and is an option there if anything happens to my team in general. So that is my squad for game week number 17. So there it is, guys. That is my team, as I said, for game week number 17, my team selection. I hope you have enjoyed this video. What is your team? Who is in your team for game week number 17? You had unlimited transfers for like 4 to 5 weeks. What did you do with them? That is what I did. I don't know if I'm going to make any changes to this team before the deadline. There is like a million other players that I could have added to this list. I was thinking about Odegaard. I was thinking about Saka. I even had, I did have Mitrovic, but then I got rid of him. In goalkeeping, I was thinking about Salah, definitely having De Gea, Dalot. Who else? There was like so many other players that I was looking at bringing in, but those players I have right now, I think with the combination and the spread of fixtures that they have, I think it's pretty decent. Let me know what you think. As you know, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, give it a thumbs up. Well, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Just do those 2 things. And if you dislike this video, press that dislike button 2 times. Press the dislike button twice, and then then that works. Thank you very much, guys, and I will see you guys. Oh, actually, before I go, you know what to do over there. Where is it? Over there somewhere in the corner is my league code. Don't forget to sign up to my mini league. You already know what to do already. Just click the auto join function. I think it's in the description below. If it's not, just type the code in, and then you'll be joined on my next week game week 18. Okay, so I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, God bless, bye bye.